Hello, trying something a little bit new today. I'm trying my camera phone, which unfortunately does not let me squish the screen down, so it's going to be a big picture. But I'm hoping it's a better picture quality than the laptop camera gives me. So hello, I'm Lynn. Welcome to the Wayward Skein podcast. This is episode 5. It is late Monday night, and I'm recording because I have a faux that I have to give away tomorrow, so I wanted to show it to you guys before I had to go. So I might as well start with knitting. I have 2 finished objects this week. This one is sticking around. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet, but I finished it on, I think, Tuesday. It took me 2 days to knit it. So it's a very, very fast knit. I'm going to say that's close to the color. That's pretty much it. It's a little bit yellower because this lamp is yellow, this one's white. So probably that side is the closest to the real color. I'll see if I can pull the white lamp over. That would have been a great thing to do before recording. So there you go. That's the actual color of the yarn. So this is the bandana cowl. I'm sorry, I keep calling it the bandit cowl. It's the bandana cowl by Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's knit in super bulky yarn, or in bulky yarn. So it really doesn't take much time at all. This was 1 skein of Ancient Art fibers. Big Squeeze is the base. It's 100% merino and it's a bulky. And this is their orange tabby colorway. They have a bunch of colorways that are named after different types of cats and dogs. They match the colors of the cats and dogs, so this is the orange tabby color. They had sent this to me for review 2016, I think, and I felt really bad that I hadn't done anything with it yet. So I knit it up and so that I could review it, and to be honest, I used most of it. This is what I have left. This teeny little thing. So I probably have a good 5 or 6 yards left in here, but I didn't want to play too much yarn chicken. So like I said, it took me 2 days to knit this. The yarn is so buttery soft. It is lofty, it's squishy, it's soft, it's... I need to get some more of this in my stash. Not necessarily this color, but I need some more of this yarn in my stash. So that's my first finished object. I knit that on size 10 US 10 needles, which is a 6mm. And as I said, I think I cast it on the Sunday night and I finished it on the Tuesday, so it didn't take me long at all. So that's my first finished object. And now we come to the one that I started on Thursday night. I started this 5 days ago. I got an email at work saying, hey, one of our coworkers just had, well, one of our coworkers and his partner just had a baby girl. We're going to have a surprise baby shower for them on Tuesday. They were not expecting the baby this early either. So I thought to myself, Tuesday, can I knit a baby sweater in 5 days? Let's find out. It turns out, yes, I can. So I started this Thursday night, and I just bound it off now. I did a slightly different bind off than what I normally do. I hope it works out. I didn't put any buttons on this one, so the front doesn't have to close because otherwise the neck hole would be awfully darn small. This is it. This is as wide as the neck is. So I'm not thinking that I'll do this bind off again. What I did was I did a single crochet across the top of each sleeve and a single crochet across the entire back, and then did a half double crochet across the whole thing. I don't think I'll do it again because it made it really weirdly wingy, and like I said, there's not a lot of stretch there, there's not a lot of give, there's not a whole lot of neck room. If this was a baby, that'd be awfully tight. I'm not sure, I mean, I think it would be big enough, but I wouldn't take that chance. I would leave it a little bit looser than this. So this is the Baby Surprise Jacket by Elizabeth Zimmerman. It is my go-to baby sweater. I've knit something like 8 of these. I think this is number 8. I love this sweater. I can almost knit it without looking at the pattern. I think I looked at the pattern 4 times. So I'm very much in love with this sweater. I've made a number of them, and I really love the yarn I used this time. So this time I used this lovely DK acrylic. Well, it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It is called James C. Brett's Woodlander DK. It goes like it's a gradient, as you can obviously see on the sweater. So it goes back and forth from light to dark teal, and it's got some indigo in there. The darkest parts are indigo-ish. They have a little more blue in them. See if you can see that. I love the way the colors turned out. They're so pretty. So this, I had 2 balls of this that I had bought for something else, and the baby that I had originally bought them for is now a toddler, so not so much on the baby sweater, but I think maybe I used 15 grams of the second ball. I cast on the second ball probably around here-ish, so maybe an inch from the edge. I didn't have to use all that much of it, but I love this sweater so much. I can't wait to give it to my friend tomorrow. So this is the Baby Surprise Jacket by Elizabeth Zimmerman. I don't know what book it's out of because I only have one of her books, and I think it's the Knitting Without Tears one. It's not in that book. But you can buy the pattern by itself in a leaflet by Schoolhouse Press. I think you can also get it electronically now, but when I bought it, you could only get it as a leaflet. I think it's like 12 pages long. And it has the instructions for the baby surprise jacket, the child surprise jacket, and the adult surprise jacket. So honestly, all I ever use is page 2 because, and I'm going to show it briefly, page 2 is line by line instructions. That's it. Line 1 all the way to the end. Line by line instructions. That's all I ever use. I've never used the other pages of the leaflet because I do not have it in me to knit this for a grown-up. I love knitting for babies. Grown-ups, not so much. Unless you came out of me, or I'm not going to finish that analogy because it's very crude, but that's my criteria for knitting sweaters for adults. So, I'm very sorry about that. That was awful. So anyway, that was my second finished object. And for that one, I used a 4mm needle, which is the US 6. This is DK weight, and it makes about a 6 to 12 month sweater, which is about right because it's July. It'll be probably November before the kid can wear the sweater. So it's about right. I still owe one of my coworkers a baby sweater, so I'm a little bummed out that I didn't finish his first, but there we are. I'm sorry, I'm a little dewy. You can probably hear the air conditioner. It is hot in my apartment. So that's my second finished object. And I have a work in progress, which of course I did not put on the sock blocker before I started recording. Way to go. Bad podcaster. And there goes all my stuff off the desk. And actually, I'm going to put my locking stitch markers away before I continue because the container's open. I keep them in little prescription bottles because they're handy. And put that in my notions pouch. So you will remember from episode 4 that I took apart Rob's sock. Is that episode 4 or episode 3? I think it might have been episode 3. So I took apart Rob's sock because he wasn't crazy about it, which I anticipated, which is why I asked him if he liked it before I continued. I only had about 2 inches done. So he wasn't crazy about it. I have the yarn for his pair of socks already set aside. This one he has approved. He's perfectly fine with. So I knit me a sock. Look at that. I love this sock. I like the colors. I like the striping and the swirling and all that stuff. And it fits. Well, I haven't put it on my foot yet because it's too damn hot. But this is my standard sock. It's based on Sock Recipe, A Good Plain Sock by the Yarn Harlot, who is Stephanie Pearl McPhee. It's out of her knitting rules book. I took her Grok the sock. I'm just kidding. Keep making shadows across my face with the sock. I just realized what I was doing. So I took her Grok the sock class probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I've never required a sock pattern since. My own personal sock, I do 15 rows of ribbing, 20 rows of leg, 15 back and forth rows for the heel flap, and then the rest of the sock just kind of evolves from there. And I do her 4-3-2-1 toe decrease. It appears that my brain shut down and I forgot how to do Kitchener. I know how to do it, but this one looks absolutely awful. I've never done such a poor Kitchener in my life. I don't know if you can tell at the toe here, but I actually caught one of the stitches and like dragged it and then sewed it in. So there's like this one draggy stitch. It was awful. It's the worst Kitchener I've ever done. But you know what? It's going to be on my toes and I don't care. It's not going to fall apart. It's solid. Who cares? So that's my work in progress. I had started to cast on the second sock when I got the emergency sweater notification. So I will now work on the second sock because now the sweater's done. So that's my work in progress. And this is knit out of Nova Sock Print in colorway 174. It's a very inexpensive but very sturdy sock yarn that I bought at Moulinet in Toronto. They had a big bin of it and I bought like 4 colors worth. So I think, as I recall, it was about $7 a ball, very reasonably priced, and it knits up very, very nice, as you can see. If I wanted to preserve the striping, I could probably do something like a fish lips kiss heel, but I don't find that I like the way that fits on my foot. I have flat feet and no arches, so I just tend to prefer this fit. So that's my work in progress. Get it off my sock blocker. Thank you very much, Selma. These were a Christmas present from her a couple of years ago. So that's all I've done for knitting. I've got a couple of projects in mind. I did just recently pick up Andrea Mowry's Golden Hour shawl. It's so pretty. It just came out this week, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I really want to knit this, but I think maybe I don't want to knit it in worsted. Maybe a DK, maybe a sport, probably sport. I do like the big comfy shawls, but worsted I find would just be too heavy for me. Sorry, I'm just like sweating buckets here. I don't have tea and I forgot to pick up a Diet Coke before I started recording, but that's okay because I shouldn't be drinking it this late at night anyway. So in reading, I have done none. I really want to pick up a book again, especially since I never did finish the last book in the Wrinkle in Time series. So I need to pick that up and finish it, get it over with, and then I can get into the next book I want to read. So I don't have anything to talk about for reading, but I have kept on with Midsummer Murders. I'm on the last series. I think I'm on series 19. I'm midway through it and I'm very, very much going to miss them. All I can tell you is that Jones returns. That's about all I'm going to say. Because now I've just spoiled the fact that Jones goes away. But Jones returns, and I mean, the high turnover in the later years of the series is giving me a little bit of anxiety, but we'll get there. I have to admit, I didn't think I was going to like, I can't remember his name now, the guy who replaced John Nettles. The guy who played John Barnaby instead of Tom Barnaby. I didn't think I was going to warm up to him, but I really, really have. I love his wife. She's fantastic. She's no Joyce, but she's pretty fantastic. And so I've been watching that. I've also been catching up on some podcasts. I've been catching up on my friend Selma, who is the Little Big Knits podcast. And she's also Little Creek Designs CA on Etsy. She designs the most gorgeous bags. Sews the most gorgeous bags. And anyway, I just wanted to say hi to Selma, and I miss your face, and I'm giving you a big squishy hug right now. So I've been catching up on her podcasts, and it's kind of funny because I've been watching her Christmas, and she keeps complaining about how cold it is outside, and I'm loving it because I'm dying. I'm not a fan of summer. I don't deal with heat well, and I have a tendency to overheat very quickly. So I have to keep guzzling water to keep myself hydrated so I don't, you know, pass out, that sort of thing. So the other thing I've been watching lately is The Uncreative Crafter with my friend Jen, who is Stormcoast on Ravelry. If you haven't seen her podcast, it's worth a look. I haven't had much time to catch up on any others, but I do have Andrea the Cat Lady in my queue. I've got the Canadian Knitter in my queue. I've got Sarah Nova Crafts in my queue. I've got a whole bunch of podcasts that I want to catch up on. Dunkelbrunn is another one. She just came out with a new episode yesterday, and I'm 2 or 3 behind, so I really want to catch up with her. I've been watching her since I saw her very first podcast right after it had come out, and I was one of the first people to comment on it, and I love her podcast, and it has taken off like wildfire. She is... Let me see if I can remember this. She's Austrian but lives in Switzerland, I think. Because I think she lives in Lake Geneva. Or she's from Lake Geneva and she lives... I don't remember, honestly. I'm very sorry, Anna. She is a very talented dyer and designer. And she's a chemist. So in her podcast, she talks a lot about the chemistry of dyeing and the science behind it. And I find that just extraordinarily fascinating. She's also one of the sweetest people I've ever listened to. I would love to meet her in person one day because she's just an absolute sweetheart. In the next few weeks, Stitches Midwest will be happening. This will be the first time in 7 years that I will not be at Stitches Midwest. Just couldn't swing it financially this year. I will be at Twist, which is not far from where I live. And I will definitely be at Rhinebeck. I have a cabin. So Rhinebeck is my big one this year. I don't have the funds to do, because I got a job about a year ago, and before that I had been unemployed for almost 2 years. And so I dug myself a little bit of debt while I was unemployed. And I've spent the last year trying to dig myself out of that. So I'm still paying off a few debts, and I'm looking forward to being finished paying off those debts, so that's why I can't spend a lot of money going to festivals this year. So we didn't go to Maryland. I won't be going to Stitches, even though I would have free accommodation at Stitches. Rob is a little disappointed, but we did just spend 2 weeks together, so he'll survive if he doesn't see me till Labor Day. It's actually our anniversary in a couple of weeks, and it's a running gag that our anniversary is a non-anniversary because we never get to see each other. We haven't seen each other on our anniversary since the day we started dating. So it's kind of a running gag that we never get to see each other on our anniversary. So other than TV, podcasts, reading, haven't been doing a whole heck of a lot. I've been sort of relaxing since I got back. I did not realize that exercise ball was back there. I just saw this big thing in the corner. I was like, what was that? As you can see, I have far too many books. That's only one bookcase. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 others in this room alone. I have a lot of books. I didn't make any tea tonight because it's too damn hot. I wasn't going to boil the kettle. Aside from that, the only other thing that's been going on, I finished my class, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what my final grade was. I actually, one of the things I had to do for this class was to job shadow another admin assistant. I've been working as an admin assistant since I was 20 years old. I'm now 42. I've been in this game a while. So I'm actually getting a diploma in administrative assistant work. Which seems kind of, you know, shutting the barn door after the horse is gone. But I basically ran into a problem where I didn't get a job because I didn't have a diploma. So even though my current job is permanent, and I don't ever intend to leave it, I love my boss, and we have a fantastic relationship and we work very well together, I want to have the piece of paper. And they're willing to pay for me to get it. So I'm getting the piece of paper. So what happened after I had so much trouble finding somebody to job shadow, my boss finally stepped in and asked some of her contacts if any of their admin assistants would be willing to help, and one of them said yes, thank God. So I had so much trouble finding somebody to shadow that I contacted the instructor and I said, look, I'm an established admin assistant. I've been doing this for a long time. If anybody is ever stuck and can't find somebody to job shadow, I'm willing to volunteer for that. So this morning I had my first shadow and it was a lot of fun. She was a sweetheart, very enthusiastic, very energetic, and we had a blast. So hi Mia, and I really had a good time meeting you this morning, and I wish you lots of luck she's gunning for 100 in this course, and I think she'll get it. So it was a lot of fun. And other than that, there hasn't been much going on. I've been sort of trying to get my apartment ready. The landlady is trying to sell the building, and we have prospective buyers coming over on Thursday they've already been here once, but they're coming to do a thorough inspection of each apartment. So I'm trying to get my apartment ready and clean up all my mess, get my laundry done, that sort of thing. Rob will tell you, not so good at getting the laundry done, me. He's the laundry guy. I do the dishes. So sadly, he's not here right now to do the laundry. So my kids are actually pitching in, and it's been all right. So with that, I will say see you later, because it is late at night. I would like to get this uploaded before I go to bed, and I'm just babbling about nothing at this point. So I will release you all from my clutches, and see you all next week. Hope you have a fantastic time. Bye.